Making news tonight, Nigerian Navy 6 speedy trails of sea pirates and arrested vessels. Agricultural stakeholders advocate use of fertilizer to boost crop cultivation. Plus, Nigeria Football Association appoints Joseph Pesiri as head coach of Super Eagles. Details of these and more in just a moment. Good evening and welcome to Nta Calabar News at 7. I am Morindia Jom. Now the news in details. The Chief of Naval Staff Vice Admiral Awal Gambo says although the Nigerian Navy and maritime law enforcement agencies have made commendable efforts in the arrest and prosecution of maritime offenders, the existing loopholes in the nation's judicial system has continued to prolong the trial period of offenders. Vice Admiral Gambo stated this while speaking with participants of Naval Warfare Course 6 on his vision and mission for the Nigerian Navy. Achibombasi has details.
Trials and convictions of criminals will not only serve as a deterrent to others, but will also help in checking criminalities. This is why the Chief of Naval Staff is concerned about the judiciary's speedy trial period for sea pirates and other suspected criminals involved in piracy and illegal activities on the nation's waterways. The Chief of Naval Staff maintained that the loopholes has led to prolonged litigation and abandonment of several vessels across Nigerian Navy bases.
The Nigerian Navy is required to dominate the maritime environment in collaboration with relevant maritime agencies to curb contemporary threats in order to peacefully utilize the maritime domain.
Beyond the logistics and manpower committed to this process, the Nigerian Navy says it has also committed enormous resources to keep the over 100 detained vessels in its custody.
The Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Armed Forces Act, and National Defense Policy charged the Nigerian Navy with the defense of Nigeria from external aggression by maintaining her territorial integrity from sea and securing her borders from violation.
Unlike the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC), the Nigerian Police Force and other security agencies who have the constitutional power to prosecute offenders, the Nigerian Navy is not permitted to prosecute maritime offenders in civil court. These challenges notwithstanding, the Chief of Naval Staff lauded the federal government for their unprecedented intervention in equipping the Nigerian Navy for effective operations. In Calabar, Achibombasi, NTA News.
Transforming the nation's food supply requires large-scale agriculture with proper fertilizer application to boost crop cultivation for improved yield. Agricultural stakeholders are of the view that the use of fertilizer is important in farming as giving plants nutrients that are essential for its growth. Uda Etem completes the story.
Agriculture, as the main source of livelihood for most Nigerians, has about 70% of households engaging in different crop cultivation. Since most farmers not practicing crop rotation, stakeholders in the sector advocate the use of fertilizers to boost crop yields and using improved seedlings.
The essence of applying fertilizer to crops is to improve its growth and enhance the quality of the crops. There are different categories of nutrients that are inside fertilizer. They are classified into three. There are primary nutrients, there are secondary nutrients, there are tertiary. The primary nutrients that you find in fertilizer are nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. The secondary ones include calcium, magnesium, sulfur, and the rest of them. While the tertiary ones, these tertiary ones are the ones that are needed in a very minute quantity. They include zinc, iron, cobalt, and molybdenum, and the rest of them.
Food production. Secondly, to make available those nutrients that are lacking in those soils, so that the crops can absorb it through their root and you have a better yield. And the farmer will have a better standard of living.
Fertilizer, in the other hand, agricultural stakeholders say, though alters the soil structure, generally increasing aggregation while enhancing the water-holding capacity of the soil, but proper management practices will go a long way to increase farmers' productivity.
There are many soils in the state that are deficient in plant nutrient. So fertilizer simply makes available this deficient plant nutrient available to crops, and that will increase the growth, that will enhance the yield, and of course the income that will be available to the farmers.
The fertilizer is a kind of catalyst whereby crops, particularly in soils that are actually lacking in one or two nutrients, this thing always boosts it to stimulate the growth and equally yield of crops that are planted.
With the ban of importation of fertilizer into the country, stakeholders are calling for improved local production to guarantee food security in Nigeria. In Calabar, Udwak Etam, NTA News.
And the quest to diversify the economy from dependency on crude oil is to ensure food sufficiency and find an alternative source of generating revenue for Nigerians. This was at the inauguration of the state government St. Gabriel's Coconut Refinery by Governor Udom Emmanuel, which also aims at creating wealth and employment for the unemployed in the state. Susan Asupo reports that former Governor of Benue State, Senator Gabriel Suswam, accompanied Governor Udom.
Aside from creating employment, statistics show that between 2015 to 2016, global export volume of coconut oil amounted to 3.32 million metric tons, while 3.44 million metric tons was exported between 2017 and 2018. With the foresight to attract foreign direct investment to the state, Governor Udom Emmanuel in 2017 initiated this project, taking cognizance of the dwindling demand for crude oil.
In the world market, virgin crude coconut oil goes for $6 a liter, and 221 liters make 1 barrel. So if the mulch talks about crude oil, it's about $110 a barrel. It means that virgin coconut crude oil is $1,326 a barrel.
Commissioner for Agriculture Dr. Fiong Ofor hinted that the facility has the capacity to mill about 1 million of coconut per day, aside other economic importance.
It will boost the state's economy and give individual coconut farmers a ready market for their produce.
Goodwill messages were presented by several stakeholders from Mparenen local government area. Susan Asukwa, NTA News.
Cassava flakes, known as gari, is the creamy granular flour obtained by processing the starchy tuberous roots of a freshly harvested cassava. This staple food served in the home of most Nigerian families and across West Africa contains the compound baracotina, an important vitamin. Correspondent Nta Calabar takes a look at how the flakes boost energy and other health benefits.
Cassava flakes, commonly called gari, experts say is the main source of beta-carotene, vitamin A good for eyesight in the prevention of blindness. As a very important food crop, it serves various food purposes with nutritional values which are great for the body and general health content.
Cassava flakes is rich in fiber and has a lot of starch in it too. You find out that the fiber content of cassava helps you to feel full just by eating it, just a little quantity and you feel full already. So it's perfect for weight watch, and also contains a lot of vitamins that is good for your sight. Contains magnesium and copper, which is very good for your health.
Gari itself is one of the value chains of cassava. That product called cassava is overuseful. It is being used for multi-purpose and multi-dimensional uses. We use the cassava for gari, we use it for fufu. Like where I come from, we use the stems as a sauce.
Gari is a local delicacy eaten across the nation. Usually, soaked gari, known as garium sulfate, is a nice way of making the flakes cereal as an accompaniment. It goes with banana, moi moi, grilled, fried fish, meat, and chicken. But this go-to meal is one which health benefits are unknown or not paid attention to by consumers.
Soaking of gari might be regarded as a poor man's food or someone that doesn't have money. Gari is actually a lifesaver because even when you don't have money, soaking gari, it gives you that pleasure, especially when you are soaking the gari with a lot of nutrients like granules, milk, and other things. Though they say that too much of soaking of gari damages the eye.
Cassava soaked gari. I like to smoke gari, especially in the hot weather like this. And I always like it to go with bony fish. And this fish, we call it in my dialect, nkonkoi bat. It works very well.
Cassava flakes as one of the popular staple food predominantly used originates from processing of cassava roots, peeling, washing, grinding, basting to drain water, and frying for final output. The roots can also be processed into different products which include flour, fufu, bread, starch, abacha, and also tapioca pearl. Cassava is widely grown with lots of derivatives, which serves a larger purpose in both industrial food processing and commercial use. In Calabar, Nta Calabar, NTA News.
You are watching news reaching you from the studio of Nta Calabar. You are being reminded as well that you can watch this newscast on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Nta Calabar. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Welcome back to the news. Young people are believed to constitute a fifth of the world's population, and experts say if their vibrancy and fresh ideas are fully harnessed in the decision-making process of the country, there could be an accelerated national development. It is against this backdrop that more Nigerian youths are suing for inclusion in the affairs of the nation nation building and democratic reforms. Nta Calabar again tells us more.
Harnessing the power of the youths as evolvers of economic, social, political, cultural transformation and drivers of change. Youths based on research should be adequately represented in decision-making processes in the country, while embracing a culture to know their rights and to be empowered with knowledge to participate meaningfully in all levels.
The people of today actually failed to choose the best of the people by credibility and who they really want to represent them. They sell their bed rights and sell most of their opportunities for peanuts.
Whatever I've heard here today is going to motivate me to become a politician or to go into politics. However, they have taught us about trying to take the future into our hands. They never said that we should take the politics or the power of today into our hands. So I don't have any intention of becoming a politician.
Able to educate the youth, and here we can be able to take the step to see how we can picture our future now.
In Nigeria, youth constitute the nation's largest population and are classified between 15 to 29 years, according to National Youth Policy 2019. But some youths hold different view to this thought that they are key agents to building democratic cultures. Why?
On the note of picturing and creating the future we want, we the women demand that processes should be put in place for the implementation of the 35% affirmative action. Thank you.
And he has touched me in depth by briefing me on certain things that I have to know in life, knowing who a model and a mentor is. Basically on the fact that outside there, I think I was having a wrong conception of it, but now I've gotten a clear definition of who a mentor and a model is.
Records have it that in 2007, the Federal Ministry of Youth Development was established for youth affairs, focusing on 18 priority areas with a vision to empower youth to be self-reliant and contribute in nation's building processes. In Calabar, Benny Achibong, NTA News.
Presidential aspirant Senator Ibikunle Amosun has continued to engage party members through strategic meetings that will form the think tank to drive his presidential ambition. National Coordinator for Senator Ibikunle Amosun, Ambassador Fatima Abubakar Bala, in a meeting with state representatives from the 6 geopolitical zones of the country, re-emphasized the need to elect the most qualified Nigerian as president of the country.
The clock is ticking for Nigeria's general elections, and political alignment is the reality of the moment, especially for the presidential election, starting with the party primaries.
Having you on board,
Senator Ibikunle Amosun's consultation team is leaving no stone unturned for the victory of its aspirant at the APC presidential primary.
Thank you very much for answering.
These party men and women were carefully selected to represent the interest of the former Ogun State governor in the 36 states and the FCT as the internal party politics takens.
I can assure you that we have a good candidate. Senator Ibikunle Amosun is a deep tribalized Nigerian, a brilliant gentleman. He is in all a good man. And at the time he was in Ogun State, so much was done. And there was peace in the state. If that could happen in Ogun, you can imagine what he will do as the president of Nigeria.
The stakeholders were urged to use Senator Amosun's antecedents in the public and private spheres to market him as the preferred choice to delegates. Abdullah Hajia, NTA News.
And the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, has condemned in strong terms the gruesome murder of a Christian 200-level student of the Shehu Shagari College of Education, Sokoto, Deborah Samuel, by some extremist fellow students for alleged blasphemy. In a statement by CAN's General Secretary Joseph Bade Daramola, says the unlawful and dastardly act of the perpetrators must not only be condemned but the culprits brought to book. The statement notes Khan acknowledges the swift reaction of His Eminence Sultan Sokoto Mohammed Said Abubakar III, who not only condemned the act but called on security agencies to bring the perpetrators to justice. It stressed that Nigeria remains a non-religious state and commiserates with the family of the deceased. The Ministry of Women Affairs has appealed to Nigerians, especially youths, to exhibit self-control and restraint under provocation, as ignorance of the law is not excuse to break it. This is coming after the murder of Deborah Yakubu, a promising student of the higher institution of learning, whose life was cut short on grounds of alleged blasphemy. Thailand described as unfortunate the sad incident which occurred in a citadel of learning, the Shehu Shagari College of Education, Sokoto, expected to breed future cores of persons who will in turn develop the minds of future leaders. She therefore re-echoed the need to re-evaluate educational values and practices, appealing to all, especially religious and traditional rulers, to ensure that youth tread the path of peace, as no religion tolerates such gruesome action. Paul Ntaken, who called for justice to save its cause, commiserated with the family of the deceased, prayed for the repose of his soul, and sued for peace and unity in Nigeria. We will take another break and the news continues. Stay with us. You're still watching Nta Calabar News. The processes and action required to manage waste from its inception to its final disposal is fundamental in view of health implication. Against this background, environmentalists are urging relevant waste management authorities to hasten the removal of waste along public places constituting environmental problems. Erika Evie in this report finds out why waste management, which is an important element of environmental protection, is posing a challenge not only in Cross River State but in Nigeria.
Most human activities generate waste. Managing waste for a healthy living remains a major concern the world over. In recent times, the rate and quality of waste generation have been on the increase due to increased human population in urban areas. And this has given rise to indiscriminate littering of refuse on the streets and drains, which provide habitat for insect vectors, flies, as well as rodents, which are pollutants to the environment.
This baby don't cause me sickness. Sickness where me I dey buy medicine every day. I don't use nose mask, you know, protect me.
You understand? So when some people come like this and they find out that the bin has already been filled without being taken, they will now place it on the floor, and there is nobody to control them. So government should do something or put enforcement on it.
For some respondents, living in an untidy environment may lead to loss of hygienic behavior and could create a significant health problem.
You are bound to be sick every day because of malaria and other diseases. You understand? So people around this area will be perceiving it gradually and they don't know, and because of this they will become sick.
Environmental stakeholders, however, advise on proper waste disposal in order to avoid polluting the atmosphere.
As you industrialize a place, there's supposed to be a checking the excesses that result in environmental hazard. But now, without the installation of the facilities requisite to check the excesses in the industrialization process, there will continue to be environmental hazard.
A healthy living depends largely to how clean our environments are. Therefore, it means that our environment at all times must be kept clean.
Don't throw dirty bin on the roadside. When rain is falling, don't bring out your dustbin and throw inside the gutter for rain to flush it. Take it to the appropriate bin where we have to trash dustbin.
Environmentalists advocate enhanced sustainability in the environment, advising people to desist from littering the streets and drains. In Calabar, Erika Evie, Nta News.
And to sports, the Nigeria Football Federation has announced the appointment of Mr. Joe Santos Pesero as the new head coach of the senior men national team Super Eagles. The appointment is with immediate effect, subject to the signing of agreed terms between the NFF and Mr. Pesero. Jose Victor dos Santos Pesero is a Portuguese who played as a striker in his days and has wide and varied experience coaching top clubs and national teams across 4 different continents: Europe, Asia, Africa, and South Africa. And finally, a recap of the major stories. The Nigerian Navy is seeking speedy trial of sea pirates and arrested vessels as part of measures to forestall security threats in the nation's maritime domain. Agricultural stakeholders are advocating the use of fertilizers to boost crop production for improved yield. It was also reported that the Nigerian Football Federation, NFF, has appointed Joseph Pesero as the new head coach of Super Eagles. That's it. Many thanks for watching. Have a good night.